What's up guys, Nukin here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to finally I'm updating my Darkside TB special mission guide. There have been new strategies, new characters, and all sorts of good stuff that I want to showcase and update and add to the theory crafting that I did a video back in February of 2018 before I even completed it. I think I had a 4-star pro droid at the time, but my theory crafting was sound and my buddy Alicia D was able to beat it on his first try. Not everyone had those 7-star probe droids and Colonel Starks at the time, and it was very mysterious and difficult. So this is going to update on, you can do the entire phase on auto consistently, follow these new team compositions. Everyone should actually benefit from this video, whether you're a brand new player or an elder player. And if you are curious to and doubt that, then just sit back and relax because I'm about to prove you wrong. Cheeky statement confirmed. Okay, enjoy. So let's just jump right into this video and start talking about one of the most important characters that has made this mission much easier. The Pimp Trooper, aka the Range Trooper, or Range T for short. Now, he went from premium from the Solo movie release, and then later this year, as their cadence, you go to the shipments and then you go to a farmable node. He is on a fairly easy node, Darkside 3A, and you can get his hard nodes, grinded up pretty quick. I just actually 7-starred him, and I did do some extra refreshes to try and get him on that last phase for today. Now, Range Trooper is an amazing character because not only is he an Imperial Trooper, he also is Empire. He's going to synergize the most with the Imperial Troopers, but he also can help any sort of Empire team, so that's pretty neat. Now, you can actually take him in, and definitely if you're playing on manual, you can actually play this without even a tank. You can also potentially play this without even a 5th Imperial Trooper like you're seeing right now. But let's just focus on some of the different team compositions and some of the strategies real fast, and then we'll jump back into some gameplay. So in the final phase, phase 6 of Darkside Hoth territory battles, there's going to be 3 different zones. In the top left, there's going to be the ship zones. All the ship zones in Darkside Hoth TB are on the very top lane, and then in the middle and bottom section there's going to be 2 terrestrial squad sort of character zones. So and those zones are also restricted to have certain things. So in the middle zone there's going to be 2 different nodes, and then in the bottom zone there's going to be 1 sort of normal combat mission, and then of course there's going to be the special mission. And one of these character nodes, you are going to be required to actually only use the Empire faction, and then of course for the special mission you're required to use Empire, and you specifically are also required to use 3 different characters: Veers, Stark, and the probe droid. And I wanted to actually do this on purpose, not only showcasing that you can do this, but you can do this with 0 platoons filled. I went in and I just went in really fast and did everything in like 10 to 15 minutes and called it a day. Of course, you can wait for your guild officers to tell you what to do, and you can, try to have your best opportunity when more platoons are filled. It will definitely be easier, but now there is 6.mods, mod slicing, gear 12 plus, power creep characters, extra strategies. Guilds are stronger than ever with more GP. They can actually, they don't need to actually get perfect combat missions unless they're on the threshold cusp of an extra star. But a lot of guilds some guilds are actually getting the maximum stars in some of these territory battles. We're due for an overhaul in territory battles, that's for sure. So hopefully in the next, very first or second quarter that will happen. We will just have to see. So now, because of that, you don't need to do the platoons. Don't worry about it, and focus on the strategy and the team here. So this is the team. The very first team was what I did a video on way back in February of 2018. We didn't have a ranged trooper, and we were considering kind of saving our death trooper for something else. We were considering platooning, the stormtrooper, or maybe using him somewhere else. And this ended up being kind of a very consistent team with the Snow Trooper and the Shore Trooper. And the theory crafting was that this mission really is actually best done with Imperial Troopers. But now we have the Range Trooper, and that's where line 2 comes in. So not only can you throw in the Range Trooper, but you can actually use no tank and do quite well on manual with this team. You can probably actually auto with that one as well. And then the third line, we learned about, you know, being able to replace the Stormtrooper with the Shore Trooper. So maybe you platoon one of them and another guy uses the other, and then Guild 50 can kind of coordinate in that way. And then lastly, the very last line, we did learn some extra strategies. You don't necessarily need to use all Imperial Troopers. There are some substitutions, and Thrawn is a very good one. And yes, you can actually auto with Thrawn and Range Trooper. So now that we talked about the teams, let's go into some gameplay. Now, we were just discussing about Thrawn and Range Troopers, so this is an interesting team composition. First of all, I want you to notice that we are doing this completely on auto, and we are just demolishing everyone. Range Trooper is a very strong character. Now, the reason for this is Range Trooper, he helps the Imperial Troopers because Imperial Troopers kind of have that sort of unique synergy. So he's going to buff up all the other Imperial Troopers. Of course, he's also going to get a lot of bonuses with the Imperial Trooper synergy as well, because General Veers is a leader and his leadership is going to be more geared towards the Imperial Troopers. And then also even the special that Range Trooper has a conditional that, yes, it helps all Empire allies, but then there's extra components for specifically Imperial Troopers, and there's a lot of buffs and assists and just a bunch of craziness and durability. Range Trooper kind of is like a soft tank with the protection boost that he can bring to the table. Thrawn also can help units cleanse themselves, which can then get rid of the daze, so you can start doing the retribution and assist attacks from Range Trooper, etc. And you can just auto the match. So this is nice because you don't have to necessarily be worried about platooning both your Shore Trooper and Stormtrooper. The fact that you can at least platoon one with a Range Trooper is great, and you can potentially platoon both of them if you so desire. So to quickly recap, I just want to show you the team here. You don't have to run this team specifically. It's actually not the most consistent. The reason why I'm bringing it up is that it's something that a lot of people don't know about, and one of the biggest concerns, or one of the most, not the biggest, but a very common concern and question that I get asked is, there's so many Empire and Trooper characters in these platoons, I can't even do the missions, I'm spread too thin, even after, you know, a year's worth of TB. And my answer to you is that you don't necessarily need to run the lineup that you are used to running. This is another lineup. In fact, you probably can also run Palpatine, Tarkin. There are other Empire options that could probably also work here, but I haven't done a ton of testing. But what I have done is I've taken one for the team guys. I went in and I tested Gear 9 Range Trooper and I was unsuccessful. So to my guildies and officers out there that are possibly watching this video, it was for science, I promise. So Gear 9 Range Trooper is not good. I probably wouldn't even do Gear 10 unless you have some god mods on Range Trooper, very heavy health and like a bunch of health and defense, stuff that you wouldn't typically probably even run on him, and have pretty good mods all around for the rest of the team. You definitely are going to want to have very good mods if you're going to be taking under-geared characters. So Range Trooper is good, but not good enough to run at, you know, Gear 8 or Gear 9, so don't even try that. And next of all, I just wanted to mention that we talked about Thrawn, and we talked about there's multiple options, and the best option is definitely to take in a tank like Stormtrooper or Shore Shore Trooper. Of the 2 tanks, it's kind of a no-brainer that Shore Trooper is the best. He has an auto taunt, he has crit immunity, he has the capability of healing the team, and the combination of Range Trooper, you know, with all the protection and General Veers with the Zeta, and there's some protection when you kill enemies, and then the heals from Shore Trooper. Your Empire team, your Imperial Trooper team, is topped off throughout the entire match, so it's very nice. One thing I will say is that if you have an undergeared probe droid and you're hitting auto and you have no Shore Trooper, you are at risk of him prematurely exploding. So be warned, that also happened in some of my testing. I was on the final wave here and the probe droid just decided to blow himself up when it wasn't time to do so, and that actually was not a very good decision for him to make, but you know, nevertheless it did happen. So that's another concern. If you're going to auto, you definitely probably want to do Shore Trooper, so that's going to be that. Now we did showcase a bunch of gameplay and this is all auto. Now I want to showcase what you do. I did this in the last video, what you should do for the rest of the phase. So not talking about ships because that's pretty easy. If you have questions, let me know, but ask them in the comments, excuse me. This is what I kind of would recommend for a very quick safe auto for the rest of the phase. So the first team is my recommendation there, with the Imperial Troopers, with Range Trooper and Shore Trooper. Now for your Empire node, you can only use Empire characters. Palp lead with Vader, there you have that dynamic duo going on. Tarkin, he's very anti-rebel. Death Trooper is very anti-rebel. And Royal Guard, you want to have a taunting tank of some kind, and you don't really need an auto taunter for the matches. Like, you definitely don't need a Shore Trooper. The CMs are a tad easier, so that's going to be my recommendation, to hit auto on that Empire node. The Bosk Bounty Hunter team is going to be great. Probably an Embo lead would work too, and you can just hit auto and that'll be a very safe match. Everyone should end up the match with basically full health and protection. I would be very surprised if not. And then a Traya Sith triumvirate trio is going to be very good. Traya in the leadership slot, and you're going to end up the battle with full HP, and that's going to be pretty good. So there's that. Now if you don't have Traya quite yet, or you don't have, you know, a bounty hunter team, there are other options. Remember, in my last video, we talked about Night Sisters and First Order. Those are other teams that can definitely auto, and the Night Sisters are even stronger now with the recent reworks. There hasn't really been anything new going with the First Order, but the First Order were already capable of doing that. You can even run Phasma as your 5th and auto as well. You don't even need to have, you know, all of the best First Order characters, and Phasma is definitely not the strongest one of the bunch, so that's nice. And so that's my recommendation here. Just work on these teams. They're also good outside of TB as well, so they're worthwhile in my opinion. Some of them are pilots, and other characters are used in raids, arena, TW, etc. And I think they're going to have value across, you know, the lifespan of this game. So here's some footage of me on my own main account. This is the Palp lead that I was talking about, and you can see, you know, the first 2 waves are very easy. You know, it works its way up. Light side TB, I believe, has 6 waves right now on the Hoth light side territory battles. 4, or did they change it? I forgot, but definitely we definitely have 4 for dark side, and so it really just gets a little tougher around the 3rd wave, and it's definitely the toughest on the 4th wave. But you can see here that, you know, very easily, you know, just handling this, not too shabby whatsoever. My team isn't even god modded. Royal Guard has very poor mods. Death Trooper is modded for the Chex Mix team that we made around the same time as well, around February or March earlier this year. Tarkin is modded with about 100 potency. He is Zetaed because he was my fleet commander, and it still is occasionally. I like to switch it around. All I have is Palp's leadership. I don't have his unique, and Darth Vader, you know, has around 70 to 80% potency. you know, 40 to 50% crit chance. Nothing, I don't even think he has crit damage on him. Not amazingly modded whatsoever. Maybe, I don't know, 80 to 90 speed, maybe 100. I could be wrong, but he does get a ton of speed from the unique, double if Palp is on the team, because he's Empire and Sith, and they both are. So that is a very convincing auto, very quick. And the last thing I wanted to showcase is, if you are a Empire Imperial Trooper fanboy, I like the Empire. I've geared up, I think, all of the Imperial Troopers, I believe. Yeah, I think I have all of them. So if you have any desire to run more Empire and you don't want to run like as many Sith, for example, here's another team. This is also phase 6 of the Territory Battles Darkside TB on Hoth, and this is a Thrawn-led Imperial Trooper team without General Veers and Stark. That's right. So you can definitely run the special mission and then also still run a team of Imperial Troopers. And the reason why this works is that the uniques of all the troopers work regardless if there's an Imperial Trooper or Empire leader at all. So that's cool. They're kind of like the Phoenix, kind of, in a way. And so you do have a nice little taunt. You also have the Snow Trooper who can boost up the damage, and so you do have some attackers like Death Trooper and Magma Trooper and Snow Trooper, and you have enough damage output there. Thrawn is a great support. His leadership is actually fairly effective. They can cleanse the days with the Grand Maneuver or Imperial Maneuver, whatever it's called. And actually, Magma Trooper is surprisingly decent in TB. Who would have thought? He gets a ton of turn meter with all the debuffs flying around from the rebels, and then he can do a bunch of turn meter removal and AoE attacks and double attacks with his basics. So now we're going to start to wind down a bit. I have a few more tips to share with you guys, and then I'll be sending you on your merry dark side Hoth TB way. Now, here's a first order team we talked about, you know, that you can auto with this team as well. This is also phase 6, and this is actually a team that I showcased way back in February. Now, you can substitute, you know, Phasma for another character on this team, for example, and this is kind of what I want to talk about: platooning and substitutions. So when you're platooning, don't do it mindlessly. Have a plan. So there's two different ways to platoon. You either just, everyone kind of donates one character of a particular team, but still allows the option and the flexibility of running that team. So for example, if we're talking about first order, I wouldn't necessarily platoon the leader, the best leader of the first order, Kylo Ren on mass. If I wanted to actually run that team, you should let someone else do that. And then if you do that, and you actually have a first order team anyway, but you have a backup team like a Night Sister team or a Bounty Hunter team, just commit. Put every single one of your first order tunes down, because without Kylo Ren on mass, you can't really run a very strong first order team anyways. So you might as well, you know, help the guild out and platoon in that sort of fashion. So that's going to be one thing. Also, think about platooning. Think about trying to complete platoons that you can actually complete as a guild. Not every guild has a bunch of whales and krakens, and sometimes you can only do 2 out of 6 or 4 out of 6, and there's no possible way to get 6 out of 6 because no one got the brand new premium marquee tunes. That's okay, because remember, you can do this with 0 platoons, but everyone tries to get platoons anyway. It is a nice bonus. So pay attention to see, you know, if you can actually complete a particular platoon. If you can't, it's a waste to actually put a character in a platoon that you can't even complete as a guild. All right, so that's about all that I have to share with you guys for today. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything new, make sure to smash that like button and leave me a comment down below what you do in territory battles. Did you learn anything new? Do you do something similar? Are you going to change things up after watching this video? Be sure to let me know. Share this video with your friends and your guildies. I think they would like it too. If you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. I make videos all the time about this great game, Galaxy of Heroes. Grand Arena is starting, season 0 starting right now, so now is the time to be able to do things quicker and do things on auto and not have to worry about it. And Darkside Hoth TB needs to be one of those things. I can do it, so you can do it. 10 to 15 minutes, full auto, no platoons, the hardest phase of territory battles. You can do it. I believe in you. All right, so everyone, I'll see you guys all in my next video, and it'll probably be about Grand Arena. Cheers.
The Force will be with you, always.